Welcome to this episode of Lagnia-Pod, the first of 2025. And, I'm Rob Holbert, your host. Along with the cast of characters, you guys sound off for the first time this year.
Brady Petrie.
Scott Johnson.
Dale Leash.
Kyle Hamrick. Happy New Year.
Tommy Hicks.
All right. Well, we are in the cusp of the new year here, and as we're recording this, it's actually in the old year. So we'll be looking forward.
Yeah, this is New Year's
into
Eve.
the year 2025. All right, I had to do it anyway. But
these young guys don't know what you're talking about.
They don't remember Conan with the year 2000 when they were doing it. I'm after it was 2000.
Yeah.
I'm cultured. I know about it. Yeah.
That was good. But so we have the cover story this week is a lot of our local politicos, our governmental agencies looking forward to what is going to happen this year. What's the big takeaway, guys?
Well, I'll speak for the city of Mobile, although I did
Your apocalypse.
I did read them. I did read all of the I had the distinction of being able to read all the look aheads and put them together. So you're welcome, America.
I feel like Scott is right now spreading the new virus that
we've all going to get bird flu because Scott went home to his 20-person family and got everybody sick. No. City of Mobile is looking forward, obviously, to the new airport, the international airport that's coming in at Brooklyn. They're looking forward to the bridge being finally built
these are not things that are going to happen in 2025, though, right?
No, these are things that are going to happen later. And then obviously there's projects that the City of Mobile want to continue to do while Stimson is still in office. Yeah. Continue with the paving and all the stuff that you've seen, McGregor Avenue, stuff like that. Yes. It's going to continue as well. So that's kind of what it's really. This look ahead for the City of Mobile for the mayor was basically like a I kind of took it as like a look back at the things that he started, right, and that things that will be continuing into 2025, and then as far as the new arena goes, 2027 is when it's going to open.
Right. So we got the
look, Scott. Now I'm doing
2027 we'll probably have the airport will open in 26 or 27.
Yeah, 2026 the airport will open. 2027 the new arena will be finished. The Civic Center, the whole area where the Civic Center is by 2027 will look completely different. Yeah. I mean, you're gonna have the Corps of Engineers building, which is pretty much finished. They're just waiting to move in. You've got the parking deck that's coming along there if you drive by, and then you've got the Civic Center just sitting there looking all post-apocalyptic.
The Civic Center looks like it was bombed. Yes.
It does.
I mean, it looks like Timothy McVeigh had his way with it.
It does.
It's blown out. I mean,
It's kind of I got to be real with you guys.
A terrible reference. I'm sorry.
I didn't want to say it, but yeah,
Oklahoma City bombing reference. Man,
reference.
Lord,
I apologize. That's awful.
You're going to start the new year off with a bang.
Yeah, it looks. I drove by the other day and it was kind of just like, wow. I mean, it's a shell. It's just like
something from the nuclear winter.
It does look like it. Yes,
it's wild, and so it looks cool. It looks,
but
very
it's also
metal.
on the cover of this.
It looks very metal, and we had two options for the cover, and I think we made the right choice because it looks badass.
Yeah, it does look crazy. It does look crazy. So what other things across the bay? They have some things they're talking about. What are we talking about across the bay?
They've got a whole lot of road and infrastructure stuff that they're working on. They're like doing some widening of county roads.
That'll be exciting. Wider roads in 25.
Yes. Well, for all of those people who are moving to the Eastern Shore, you got to get them on the road.
What can you expect in Baldwin County? Really,
bigger trucks.
And then there's something cool coming to Fairhope. It's called the Flying Creek Nature Preserve.
Okay.
It's going to be this massive kind of nature park that could have the Hermit Hut.
The Hermit Hut might go there.
The Hermit Hut might go there if the feasibility study comes back.
My hope for 2025 is that we don't write a single story about the Hermit Hut. That's what I'm hoping.
I don't know.
But I feel like you're on that Hermit Hut beat pretty hard.
Man, I don't know. But anyway, this park is supposed to be pretty cool. They've got like a lot of money that's going into it. It's going to be pretty scenic, kind of the northern part of Fairhope. And they got a new fire station coming to Spanish Fort. So they can put out fires.
These are
over
exciting developments. They are. What about that? There is something about a biplane in Loxley, right? What do we got going on? Or Foley. I'm sorry.
Yeah, one of the main things that they're looking forward to in Foley is the opening of the World War II History Museum.
That'll be cool.
It'll be very cool. They've got an authentic World War II biplane that they flew into Foley. It's going to stay there. And they're also, much like they're doing in Daphne and Fairhope, they're just trying to accommodate the growth.
Yeah.
I think Foley has grown, 30% since the census in 2020.
That's crazy growth.
Yeah,
that is.
So
huge growth.
that's the primary thing that they're going to be focused on next year is just finding places
For people to live.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
Stacking
gonna
them
be the
like
main thing.
firewood. Yeah.
Cordwood, yep.
Yeah.
And the biplane was the second option for the cover this week. And
Yeah.
I like the biplane.
yeah,
It's
the
good,
biplane
but,
was not.
you
It
know,
just wasn't quite as
It didn't live
metal
up
as
to
the Civic Center.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
I agree
I think the out with the old, sort of goes with the theme for a new year. When we go back to the bridge for a second, I mean, do we know at this point where is the bridge? What's the
latest? And we need to probably update this. We haven't done it in a while.
I mean, is there supposed to be a
last
groundbreaking in 25? Are we going to
think that
see
there
a
is.
shovel turned on this thing?
Because I remember when Kay Ivy
A golden
came down,
shovel?
When Kay Ivy last came to Mobile, she said that everything is pretty much on track. We just need more money.
we need more
That's the
money.
way- More
Oh, yeah.
money.
Yeah, we don't have
More money.
What do we? Even
By the way,
have,
no thanks to her.
do we
Everything's
even
on
have a
track.
third of the funding at this point? I don't think we do. I think we've
I
got.
think we're just over $1 billion, which is
about a third.
about a
so
third.
That
so
that
Is it
part.
$3 billion now?
Yes, it's
Yeah.
it's going to be over $3 billion now. Yes, $3 billion. Yes, it is. Scott gives us the Dr. Evil pinky there. So yeah, that's a strange one. I know we also had something with the school system. You talked to them about what's going on in the coming year.
Baldwin Schools.
Baldwin
Baldwin
schools.
yeah. Mobile County schools did not get back to us, but I believe Baldwin County
Schools.
schools
Oh,
talked
yes.
about what they're looking
Oh,
forward
yeah.
to. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
they have got. Hold on, I have to remember actually what they sent me. One of their big things was they're trying to improve their system-wide report card because they had gotten a B for the past 2 years, and then they're really trying to get it up to an A. So that's something that they're going to be working on there. And let me see, that's the main thing for them.
Main thing is just to make sure the kids are smarter.
Just to make sure
that's a
kids
good
are
one.
Smarter. Oh, and there's going to be some new schools that will be coming to Silver Hill, Loxley, Alberta, and Daphne,
Man, they are.
which are kind of the key central parts of growth in the county.
And then Scott, I know that the county commission, Mobile County Commission, they had some things they talked about as well.
Yeah, they're continuing their parks initiative. That's been a multi-year project of them really targeting quality of life projects.
Yeah.
So you got of course, you've got Connie Hudson, who was able to get a ton of money for the aquatic center property out on Halls Mill.
Will we see anything in 2025 that happens out there?
I don't think so. I mean, there's going to be under construction.
Yeah.
They broke ground earlier this year, so it'll be at least 2026, and then maybe not even till the mid 2026 when they're actually using it for swimming competitions and events like that.
So this is going to be a year of pardon our progress.
That's what it
basically.
sounds like.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
2025 will be pardon our progress.
Going to be a lot of digging, a lot of building, a lot of stuff going on.
In fact, that should have been the headline
Probably,
on the,
yeah, it
on
should
the
be.
look ahead
It's
story.
gonna be,
I missed the boat on that.
There's quite a bit of building, but I mean, there are a lot of projects underway that are really going to be important for the community. So I think it would be interesting to see a year from now how much progress we have made on those.
And I think, and I know there's a lot of people that are skeptical about the airport move still, but I really think that Jimmy Buffett International Airport is going to be excellent. Excellent for that for us, and
I hope for all of our sakes that they name it that. I hope it will be named that.
That would be
I don't
good.
know. We were in the room with a very important person who kind of winked when I brought it up. So we'll see what happens.
It would be a great name for it.
I think Jimmy Buffett International Airport is because it's also close to Pascagoula. It's perfect. Pascagoula, Mobile come together.
It's good.
Name it Jimmy
He
Buffett
was a
International
pilot,
Airport.
Yeah, it all works. Yeah, it would
200 years too late.
That and I
he was a pilot, not a
not a pilot.
pirate,
stop.
not a pirate.
And then He was both, I guess. And then also,
Would have been a very difficult pilot 2 years ago.
I think you're also
200 years
something
ago.
that wasn't
I missed that up.
something that wasn't mentioned in the city's look ahead that I want to mention is I think you're going to see some movement at the cruise terminal. I think you're going to see, we have the seasonal carnival ship now.
Yeah,
I think
right.
you're going to see another ship.
You think this year we might?
Yeah, you'll get another ship that takes over the cruise terminal on the off season.
That would be fascinating.
And I'm personally hoping on the Jimmy Buffett area. I'm really hoping it's Margaritaville at sea. I know we've reported that that's a possibility.
Yeah.
I have seen some trade news to that effect as well. So I think that that's a really truly a true possibility that we get Margaritaville at sea.
That'd be a nice fit for Mobile.
It would.
It would be. Yeah, that's that would be interesting.
In fact, we need to do an updated story on that to see where they are on that. 'Cause I can't remember. I think Scott did the story that mentioned that.
Yeah.
We probably need to update that.
Jumping over to University of Alabama, South Alabama.
Yeah.
They got the Whitton College of Medicine.
Right.
Now that again on the theme of Pardon Our Progress,
Right.
that's going to be in significant construction 2025.
It's
opening.
already pretty significantly under construction at this point, so
Yeah.
they should see a lot of that finishing up this year, I would think, right?
I think their goal is to get students in the doors like first thing 2026. So
That's going to be impressive. That'll be really something else. Yeah, I think a couple of years from now, we certainly will have some new buildings, some new things going on. Hey, and I know Dave & Buster's is opening in a couple of weeks, so that's something.
I think you're going to see you're probably going to see some writing to the effect of the Lagnia-Pod crew going to Dave & Buster's.
There we go.
If Allison's Beer and Loathing comes through for us again, we'll spend some time. I don't know if she's listening, but if she is, please, Allison, let's do that as a work trip again.
are they going to have go-karts?
I don't think so. That's if you want go-karts, go to the Drew Brees thing at the mall.
Surge.
Yeah.
Well,
He's got
Scott's
go-karts.
out.
Anyway.
But Dave & Buster's is great. My 8-year-old is already talking about it.
Right.
She calls it the Davidson Center for some reason.
It makes sense. The Davidson Center.
She calls it the Davidson Center, and she loves chicken wings. So I told her, like, when it opens, we'll play games and eat chicken wings together. It's gonna be great
At the Davidson Center.
at the Davidson Center. Yes,
Well,
that really tickled Kyle.
yeah, that's good. All right, guys. Well, there's clearly a lot that's gonna be going on this year, and we'll be covering it all. We're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna come back and talk with Tommy Hicks about we got a lot of football happening right now, so we'll be right back.
Down in our Alabama town, Lagnia Daily is on the beat. For just $6.50, it's all the news, keeping local folks in the loop. Oh, Lagnia Daily, every single morning, catching up on stories while the coffee's pouring. The local truths on every page, news for the folks of every age.
It's just $6.50 a month for Mobile's daily news, Lagniappe Daily. Get signed up now at lagniappemobile.com and help keep Mobile funky.
Oh, down in our Alabama town, Lagnia Daily is on the beat. For just $6.50, it's all the news, keeping local folks in the loop. Oh, Lagnia Daily, every single morning, catching up on stories while the coffee's pouring. The local truths on every page, news for the folks of every age.
And we are back with Tommy Hicks.
Ta-da!
And so we got a lot of football still happening here.
We
The
do.
season is wrapping up in many ways. We got the all-area team.
Yeah,
right?
we have our all-area team, the Lagniappe all-area team. We pick two separate teams, 6A, 7A, and like 2A to 5A team. Man, it was hard to pick those first teams this year because there was a lot of talent. I added up, the all-state team came out about a week ago, and there were 71 players from this area that are in our coverage area.
Wow.
That were on the all-state teams. Now, that's 1A through 7A plus private school.
Is it safe to call us a football factory down here?
Yes,
I think it is.
I think that's absolutely safe, especially when both coaches that came down for the 68 Ventures Bowl said they've been assistants at bigger schools, Power 4 schools in the past, and they said this was always like a recruiting area that they made sure that they came into. So they were happy to be playing in this bowl game just to give them a
Do a
chance
little work
to get
while
to
they're
high
here,
school. Yeah, do a little recruiting while they're in town. So, but on our team, we had KJ Lacey, who's a Texas signee. He was our player of the year for 6A, 7A. Ellis McGaskin of Williamson is our 2A, 5A player of the year. He's just a sophomore.
Okay.
So we had a lot of sophomores that won some of our superlative awards. Gunnar Rivers, quarterback at St. Michael, was the offensive player of the year. He's a sophomore. Jabarius Guerra, defensive player of the year at Viger, sophomore. So, we've got a lot of talent that's going up. Colin Wilson, who signed with Mississippi State, was our offensive player for 6A, 7A. So, yeah, there's a lot of talent, and a lot of it is really young. Our all-area team is filled with, sophomores and juniors.
That's crazy.
Not a lot of seniors.
Well, that's good stuff. They also, I guess, in South Alabama news, they've lost a couple of assistants. They've moved on.
They've lost 3, actually, and it came pretty quickly.
And they entered the transfer portal, I suppose.
Yeah. I guess the most notable would be Rob Ezel, the offensive coordinator. He was hired for the same position at
Wake Forest.
Wake Forest. God, I lost my train of thought for a second. At Wake Forest, and
that makes a lot of sense because he did a heck of a job. That offense was humming this year.
Good. He's only an offensive coordinator for 1 year.
Yeah.
He was tight ends coach when Major Applewhite, now the head coach, was the offensive coordinator. And Major had really great things to say about Rob, and he was very encouraged that Rob got that opportunity to.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but Rob is also the one that does the bang up Saban impression, right?
He is.
Yeah.
And you can find that on YouTube without any
Look
problem.
it up. Yeah.
When he was a player at Alabama, he did that.
I have seen that. It's good stuff.
It is great.
It was pretty good. Running backs coach Ephraim Reed is following Mr. Ezel to Wake Forest. He's going to be on that offensive staff. And then Jonathan Bradley, the defensive line coach, who's one of their really big recruiters, most successful recruiters on the staff. He's going to Kennesaw State. And a lot of people go, well, why are you going from South Alabama to Kennesaw State, not be a coordinator? I mean, he wasn't listed as coordinator. That may change, but he's joining the coach there, Jerry Mack, who used to be wide receivers coach here when Joey Jones was head coach for a couple of years. They were teammates together at Arkansas State. And when Jerry Mack was head coach at North Carolina Central, Bradley was on his staff there. So it's kind of it's more friendship connection type of thing that he's going there with him to help that staff get started.
So if you're looking back at South's season now, it's completed.
Yeah.
What's your grade on it? How do you think they did?
I think they did well. I think obviously the offense improved. The defense got better as the year went along. And then probably at the end of the year, the defense was probably the strong point of the team because they really
definitely improved. No doubt.
They did a lot of good things there toward the end. 7-6, you got a third straight winning season, which is big. You've got 2 straight seasons where you've won a bowl game. And I think Major kind of established himself as the leader of that program and his culture and how he wants to run things. I think from that, now you can obviously look back and there's 2, maybe 3 games they got to feel like they should have won.
Right.
Could it have been better? Yes. But they also, made some progress in some areas. They've lost a couple of guys to the portal. Fluff Bothwell being the biggest one, obviously. But then I think they're going to, just like any other team, they're going to gain some guys in the portal as it comes along. They've already gotten 1 player out of the portal, but the portal closed recently on the 28th. So now nobody else new can get in, but you don't have to have signed by now. So now you know who's in there and who's available. You can evaluate those guys and get ready for spring.
Preseason, they were sort of picked to have a losing season, right?
Yeah.
And not do very well. So
they were picked down the list in the West.
They exceeded those expectations.
Yeah, and they had a chance. They had a chance here right at the end of the season to win the division. They just lost that game to Texas State at the end.
Yeah.
Or else they would have had now. It ended up Louisiana won their game, and then which they would have had to lose against Troy.
They definitely lost a couple that were kind of in the bag. And I know one, I walked out of the stadium thinking it's done. They won this thing, and then they lost.
Yeah.
It was.
there's at least 3 where you just
Yeah.
shake your head.
So
and
they
go,
could have had a really very strong season with just a little bit more.
Yeah.
I think if the defense had been playing better at that time, they probably would have won those games.
Yeah. So I think now that you look at it, you built a good foundation over the last 3 years. It's become more of a school that recruits look at, I believe. With Major Applewhite there, he's a name that people know from Alabama, from Texas, from his time playing at Texas. So that's going to help recruiting. It's going to be interesting how he, fills those vacancies on the staff. I think there's a really good chance. Paul Petrino is a wide receivers coach currently. I think there's a good chance he may get promoted to be the OC because he's been an OC at 4 different schools prior to this. He has that experience. He obviously knows the offense. It makes sense to make a move up there and maybe hire an assistant coach to either make him the quarterback's coach as well or leave him at receiver and hire a quarterback coach for offense and then get a new running back and D-line coach.
All right. Well, I mean, it's a good season for him. And then we have also a local gentleman who is up for consideration for the NFL Hall of Fame.
Yeah, Willie Anderson of Mobile played his high school ball at Viger, was a big-time high school recruit. After his career here at Viger, went to Auburn, played 3 years, was number 10 overall pick in 96 draft, I want to say. He is a finalist among the 15 modern era finalists for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. It's the 4th straight year he's been a finalist.
Yeah.
So we're hopefully this is his year. They usually pick at least one. They usually pick just one offensive lineman because you have all the wide receiver and quarterback and D-backs that they get more of the attention. Eli Manning is a first-year candidate this year. Luke Kuechly is first year this year. There's a lot of guys coming in that have those kinds of names and that prestige that could take some spots. But hopefully this will be the year Willie gets in. He really deserves it.
He's a great player.
He was the best right guard in the league when he was playing.
He was definitely great. So we're in the midst of the football playoffs at this point. By the time people hear this, there will have been some games that already took place. I mean, that first week was kind of a dud. The first round was kind of a dud. I mean, no competitive games really.
Nope.
As people will already have seen some of these games, but we haven't seen them yet. What are you looking forward to on some of these? Are you thinking there's going to be some better games, more competitive games?
You got to hope that there'll
be one good game,
more competitive games.
Ohio State, Oregon will be competitive, but Texas will blow the doors off Arizona State. Penn State will blow the doors off Boise State.
I don't think that's necessarily true.
No, they can't hang.
You're getting some pushback from others here.
Well,
yeah.
Off mic, Brady agreed with me, and now he's being a troll.
Well, that's all I know to do is to be a troll. But I don't think Penn State's going to roll. Now, you may be right about Texas, Arizona State. I think Arizona State's running back coming out and just claiming that nobody could stop him.
Yeah, I think he's going to get stopped. I think he's going to get stopped.
Not a good
tomorrow.
idea.
It's not a good idea against a team like Texas. But I think Boise State, Penn State will be fun. I think it'll definitely be more entertaining than any of the first round games.
You mean Ohio State, Tennessee, for instance?
Yes, that's a prime example.
Yeah, there were some pretty rough games.
Ugly game.
Does that bode well for this playoff system, or is this just what?
Well, I think it gives you the open door to change the criteria.
They're going to change. They're going to change the seeding.
I think you'll seed it differently. I also think that you got to look at it after what they've seen. They placed a lot of emphasis on conference championship game, just making the game. That's what got SMU in.
Right.
Is they just made the conference championship game. That's what got them in. I think people will look at that differently. I think they'll look at how they seed them differently. I think
it's a work in progress, right?
Yes.
It is. So
I understand that the games weren't entertaining, but at the same time, I don't know what people really expected. I mean, this is going to happen when you expand the playoffs in any sport. I mean, look at NCAA basketball tournament.
Right,
you've got 68 teams. Very rarely do you have any of the first round games that are highly competitive.
It's
And
rare
so,
that some first round teams that
I mean, sometimes
big underdogs come up and beat a top team.
This is
sometimes
always
that just
gonna happen.
happens. I mean, I covered a BCS national championship game between Florida and Nebraska that was as ugly as you could find.
Right.
I mean, you never know how those games are going to play out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's easy. It's certainly fodder with those first games for people to go, you got to change it now. I mean, look at this.
Right.
This is horrible.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to open the door.
Y'all remember the Notre Dame Alabama national championship too? That was two teams they picked the old way, and was it 42-14? I believe was the final.
Yeah.
I mean, I enjoyed it, but I'm
The rest
sure
of
a lot of people.
the rest of
didn't.
America did not. It was
Right.
boring. Yeah. It was.
So there's examples of it on both sides. I get it.
I mean, it's still got a little ways to go. I'm sorry, Scott. You were going to say something.
I mean, 12 teams. There's a lot of football teams out there. I just figured that you could get teams that are a lot closer in competitive level.
Well, I mean,
Just-
I think
Especially when you don't have the top 4 playing in the first round. You know, you're supposed to be slotting them up to against,
Well, if you're
starting
making,
at the 5 seed.
if you're making it an
So-
issue that you have to get in the conference champion of each league, what if you're, and I hate to use this example because of where we live and all and the feelings, but the SEC's top 3 or 4 teams against, the ACC this year, it wasn't really close.
right.
I mean, so just because you won a bad league doesn't mean you're a good team.
Yeah.
I mean,
Or
South
a team with
Carolina.
that-
South Carolina beat Clemson, right?
Mm-hmm.
Correct. And then Clemson goes and wins the ACC, and South Carolina was good, but they were what, the 5th or 6th best SEC team, arguably. Like, I mean, I know that head-to-head matchups aren't all because I mean, I don't think. You play Michigan, Ohio State this year 10 times. I think Ohio State wins 8 to 9 times, and they just happened to lose the one time they played this year. So I don't know.
It's never going to be perfect,
No.
but I think there has to be. Which has been the thing that everybody has really talked about is strength of schedule has to play more of a role in this thing, and that may be trouble for, like you said, teams that make their conference championship but lose. They probably. Especially if you lose in a conference that is not super strong to begin with,
Yep.
you probably are going to get bumped out. I doubt an SMU would make it next year.
Yeah, I mean,
We'll
if
see.
you're a team that's played and had success against, say, 4 top 25 teams in a year,
Right.
against a team that hasn't played a top 25 team, but they won their league and they're going to get in, I think that's something that has to be looked at.
Well, by the time people hear this, a lot of this will be solved for this week. But hopefully we'll see some. We'll be prescient in some ways, and there'll be some good games. But I think it's going to be. It is a work in progress as we go.
And before I know we're about to go to break here,
Yeah.
but I know you weren't going to plug it yourself, but congratulations on our fantasy football championship.
Thank you. Yes,
I
mean it.
just had to put that out there.
It was tough. We put in a lot of hard hours, a lot of work, a lot of training. I'm just happy to be here. You put up a good game. It was a good fight. And you did much better this year than you did last year.
That is true.
That is very true.
You didn't end up in the loser as the ultimate loser. That was Jason.
That is Jason.
Jason Johnson, yes, who will receive a pie in the face for his efforts. Which
Yes.
That's
is
going to be awesome.
Yeah, and will be
Yes.
delivered by. We don't know yet.
We don't know.
No, it'll be me.
It probably going to be Dale. I'm probably going to let Dale have. It is my right. It is my
You
right.
have the
but
right to.
I have.
to
I have.
outsource
I have.
that.
Yes. What is it? The
We should do it
first
in the
night,
mayor's
whatever.
office, don't you think?
Do it in the mayor's office.
prima nocta with the pie, but I may let Dale have at it. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back. Just $6.50 a month for Mobile's daily news, Lagniappe Daily. Get signed up now at lagniappemobile.com and help keep Mobile funky. And we are back. So we had one of the more bizarre stories the other day that came out. What was it? It wasn't the day after Christmas, was it? Or
Saturday. I
Saturday,
believe.
yeah.
It was
So,
Saturday.
Yeah.
so Saturday, someone threw puppies off, or two dogs off of the Dog River Bridge.
Yes,
Um,
nearly 75 feet in the air.
Crazy,
It was
and they
wild.
lived.
They miraculously
They weren't even hurt.
No, they were just understandably terrified afterwards, but they're still spoke with an officer who was the first one on the scene yesterday, and they said that the dogs are still frantic around people,
No,
obviously, but otherwise
they
they're in
hate
good shape.
bridges.
They hate bridges now,
man.
but yeah, otherwise they're doing good. They're still looking for the people that did this, and
A couple of min pins, a couple of miniature pinchers, right?
miniature pinchers, and,
Cute dogs.
Oh,
Yeah.
very cute dogs.
I always liked
And
them pinchers.
They're actually terriers, by the way, but
They
Oh,
are.
really?
They got Manchester Terrier in them, but that's anyway.
a little bit, yeah.
Didn't
And
know
they,
that. That's interesting.
They are.
what baffles me is, number one, I can't believe anybody is this disturbed to do this in the first place. But number two, why do you choose broad daylight on a bridge to do? I just,
right above a restaurant.
right above a restaurant to do this.
Yeah, there were actually photos of people throwing them off the bridge.
Yeah,
you know, and
somebody got a
it's,
picture. Yeah.
I hope they'll find these people.
I mean, they haven't found him yet. So what's? I guess what my point would be, what's the harm if no one's found him yet? Apparently, it was somewhat their plan was somewhat successful.
I mean, I guess
I
so.
don't know if I would say what's the harm, but I
Well,
think
that's- yeah.
I think that
Well,
the internet will be so unkind to these people when they are discovered. If they are discovered, I think it will be
Well, what was-
mind blowing.
What was funny yesterday is I went out and met a couple of the officers that were on the scene,
Yeah.
And everything, and there were two people who drove by us, just kind of want to know what was going on, and we talked to them. They were like, "Yeah, we're just here doing a story about the puppies thrown off." And one guy said, "Whenever you guys catch them, give me the first 5 minutes with them." So yeah, whenever these people are caught, the internet is going to be
It's insane.
Yeah, yes, the internet's ruthless as it is, but I mean, I don't, I think that it's just bizarre that somebody would do that. It's fascinating. I guess an officer was driving by, I guess, and saw it happening, but didn't recognize what was going on. Right?
Yeah, there was I believe it was actually with the Daphne Search and Rescue.
Yeah. That's where I wondered how
Yeah.
Daphne Search and Rescue got involved.
Yeah,
he
that's
was just
how.
driving by.
Just happened to be driving by in the area, and he drove past the car, but like you said, had no idea what was going on. And then once the calls started coming in for Mobile Police Department and everything, he overheard the calls and turned around and came back and assisted and ended up getting the dogs. Now, they got the dogs out of the water, but once people started trying to get them, the dogs went back into the water. And so they spent about
the dogs
2 hours.
jumped back in the river,
They
right?
did. They jumped back in the river. And they spent about 2 hours trying to catch them, but they finally got them.
The current there is very strong. I mean, it is. I routinely go through there, and it is. It's very, very strong.
Yeah,
current.
just standing off. Right
I mean,
there,
those two
couldn't
little dogs.
imagine.
That's kind of amazing. But I hope they catch these folks. It's it is just unbelievable that somebody would do something like that.
I figure if and when they do catch the people responsible, they're probably going to make them an example. I would assume.
I would think. Moving on to another story, cell phone bans. Where are we on that? What's going on with cell phone bans in schools?
There is a bill that could come up in the next session of the legislature that would remove all cell phones from K through 12 public schools
Now,
in
that
the
does that.
state.
When you say that, that means they can't bring the phones to school, or that the phones they can't have them in class.
You could bring them to school, but you'd not be allowed to have them in class. The State Board of Education would have to come up with a policy for all school systems so that phones are not in students' hands in class, with some exceptions, like if you have a IEP or some kind of.
What's an IEP?
That is an individualized education plan. That's for like students with some special needs or some disabilities or something.
And Mobile County has already kind of taken initiative on this, and they've, along with all the other safety measures that they've put into place this year, they've also done a kind of a cell phone ban where students have to lock up their phones
in
at
pouches,
the beginning,
right?
In pouches at the beginning of every day, and they get them back.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's a great idea. I think most adults definitely feel like it's a good idea, and but I mean, having grown up in an era when if your parents needed to get in touch with you, someone called over the intercom or like, please send Rob to the principal's office, and whatever, that kind of thing.
I remember that.
And we didn't have contact with our families or parents in between classes. That was not normal. But I know the world is different now, and everybody wants to contact their kids at all times.
Right.
And so I get that sort of thing, but it does seem like it's massively distracting to have.
Yeah.
Is it
That's,
fair? Is it Fairhope High School lets them have the phones after classes, in between classes?
Yeah,
I
that's
think that's
what
the best.
happens, yeah.
I think that's the better way to do it.
Yeah.
Is let them have it in between in case there's an emergency
Yeah.
or some sort of.
And that's
thing.
what the principal there told me, because he piloted this program in Baldwin
Yeah.
for this last semester. Was, you have to lock up your phone during class, but you get it during the class change. He said, some seniors have to go to work. They pick up their younger siblings,
there's an
stuff like that.
emergency,
If
they
there's
can
an
see that,
emergency, stuff
But
like
then
that.
you look at it from the Mobile County side of things. I think they instituted the policy to cut down on fights because there was a fight at LaFleur that was started through texting,
That's right.
text messages. It's a shooting.
The shooting that happened.
Yeah.
Right at LaFleur.
Yeah.
And so that, I don't know if letting them have it between classes would prevent that. That's the thing. So like it's going to be
yeah.
I think they have to let them have it between classes for various and sundry reasons, but at the same time, I don't know if that'll cut down on what Mobile County wants to cut down
Well,
on.
and what's something that Fairhope High a question they raised was they were concerned about having to create a model kind of a policy that this is what you have to do, because every school is different. And that's one concern that he had on this, was that having to make everybody do the exact same thing.
Well, I mean, and I think Mobile County, when I talked to a lot of the education officials here, that was kind of their main concern with putting the cell phone, ban, if you will, in place, is that in between classes and even during classes, students were texting and,
Right.
during classes, and just it was instigating a lot of these incidents.
Right.
And so the hope
Right.
was that this would cut that down.
I think, in your story about it, that teachers have said that, or the educators have said that they're seeing better concentration in class, and
Right.
and students are doing better in class as a result. I mean, I can't imagine how distracting it would be to have a phone available in class. I mean, the temptation to stare at your phone would be just enormous.
And with Retro Bowl available?
That's what I'm saying. With Retro Bowl out there, I don't know. I mean, I can barely get my job done right now.
Seriously.
And
Just
look, I
imagine
just want
trying
to tell
to
the
get
people out
through
there,
math.
if you've not heard of Retro Bowl, don't look it up. Don't do it.
Don't
It's going to ruin your life.
My dad
it
loves
will.
that stuff. He loves the retro bowl.
If you grew up playing Tecmo Bowl as I
Oh
did,
my goodness,
it
it's
just
so good.
it goes back to you will see Tecmo Bowl, but it's better. It's
so good.
It's just really
it is the
good.
greatest thing ever.
It is.
I'm on my 67th season.
It's really
of
the
Retro
best.
Bowl.
Yeah, I don't even know how many. I've won 9 Super Bowls. I'm in pretty good shape. But anyway, I play it at the extreme level now. So
Wow.
that's tough though. That's brutal.
Every
brutal.
waking moment that I'm not
Brutal.
watching TV, reading, or talking to my family, I'm playing Retro
Whenever
Bowl.
my wife's talking to me and I'm not hearing anything, it's because I'm playing Retro Bowl. It's ruined.
It's a
It's
problem.
going to end so many marriages.
It's ruined my relationships with my family. It's I don't even notice much of what's going on anymore. Real quickly, Dale, give us an update on the Paul Prine lawsuit that was filed too.
Former police chief, Mobile Police Chief Paul Prine filed a lawsuit against the city. 5 of 7 council members, Sandy Stimson individually, and I think Jim Barber individually, the chief of staff, over a bunch of different accusations and charges are in there, but basically it's all related to his firing in April, end of April of this year. And he filed it on Christmas Eve, so that was a fun little
that was fun for you.
fun little gift for yours truly.
Right. Go home. You got things to do, and then he files it right then. It's like
So I have not seen the city's response to the lawsuit yet. They officially have no comment, as they do with all litigation. So I mean that is what it is. We also Brady reached out to Prine for me. He also had no comment. So I'm just going to kind of wait to see what the responses are. It's it's a lot of accusations of slander and accusations of defamation.
Yes,
and things like that, all related to his firing that made weeks and weeks of news.
It certainly has a lot of potential.
The spring.
Yeah, it certainly has a lot of potential to drag people into court if it goes to court, and to have probably some uncomfortable conversations in court. That so I don't know. What's
There are
gonna
some
happen with
interesting
that.
accusations in the lawsuit. Many of them we've heard before from Paul Prine himself.
Yeah.
He has got a lot, like a cadre of just passionate supporters in his corner. So this really split the city in a way that I didn't anticipate as a reporter who covers the city, but it really has. But like I said, he's got a number of supporters, people who would normally, I think, support Sandy Stimson and the administration and everything that they do are really started to second guess the actions of said administration due to what happened with Paul Prine. And on the other side, you've got the entire city almost the entire city council. I think they voted. They were the ones that voted to officially fire him.
Yeah.
When this all came to a head. So, and they had like a whole investigation over what he had claimed had happened. So, I mean, you've got really two very distinct sides to this, and it'll be interesting in an election year to see how it plays out.
I think it's got some political implications. Well, I think that's about it for this episode, and we will be back next Thursday. Wish everybody a very happy new year. Hope we get off to a good start, and that 2025 is going to be a banner year for everyone.
Yep.
We're out of here. See y'all next week.
Love you. Bye.
The Lagnia-Pod is a Something Extra publishing production. Executive producers are Rob Holbert and Ashley Trice. Music is by Sompole Sounds and Electro Animals. Only subscribers like you have access to this podcast. Tell your friends they can sign up at my.lagniapmobile.com. For advertising opportunities, please call 251-450-4466.